Good morning. Welcome to Sakura Questfast, Episode 5, the Budding Yggdrasil. I'm Caitlin Glass, the ADR Director of the dub of Sakura Quest. Joining me this morning are Elizabeth Maxwell and Jim Foronda. Let's get started. Off it goes. We're live. Good morning. Good morning, Internet. Morning. I'm going to adjust this a little bit so we don't have to keep leaning over. Maybe like so? Oh yeah, much better, much better. Good morning, welcome to Sakura Questfest, Episode 5, the Budding Yggdrasil. Do you know what an Yggdrasil is?
It's Norse, isn't it?
It is Norse. It's like
a tree.
The tree of life. Tree of life in Norse mythology. So, good morning, Periscope. Once again, just a reminder, you're kind of far away, so we can see hearts really well, but we don't really have much time to read extra questions. I'm so sorry. But joining me today, our special guests, to my right, who are you?
Sanae!
And what's your name?
I'm so in it. I'm
know.
so in it. That is the only person I am.
It's true.
Elizabeth Maxwell.
Yay!
And I pulled out my special Sanae glasses for the occasion.
Awesome. And over here?
And I am Jim Foronda, and I'm wearing my Jim Foronda glasses because I can't see anything without them.
Who do you play, Jim?
Oh, I play Tatsuo, the happy woodcarver.
The happy. Yes, there are two, and he likes his job. The other one, we're not so sure. Maybe he likes it too much. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Sakura Quest upgrade office. I don't want to. Well, that's a thing. That's just interrupting my life right now. Way to go. Thanks, Microsoft.
I'm
Nobody
so
asked
ready
for
to
your
dance.
assistance. Okay. There we go. Yay! So people have been looking forward to you guys appearing, and they sent in questions. So I think we should just get right to them while the theme song is going on, Elizabeth.
I love this song
Jazz
so
yourself.
much. Like, it makes me so happy. Every time I watch an episode, I'm just like...
Yeah, sometimes you want to skip the theme song, but I never skip it.
The single for this song actually released in Japan today, or yesterday, because they're... Anyway,
Yeah. If you like it,
there you go.
you can get it.
Yeah.
From CD Japan is where I get all of my Japanese import music. So yeah. This is kind of random, but it's the first question in order from Tiffany. She wants to know, is there a fan mail address where she can send us things? I will say, Tiffany, we cannot always reply. That's kind of tricky. But if you send an email to you can mail things to Funimation. And I don't know their address offhand, but you can find it on their website. It's something like 1200 Lakeside Parkway, Flower Mound, something or other zip code. I don't know.
And I will tell you, the easiest way to get a actor or voice actor to send you a signed headshot, if that's what you want, is to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. It makes our lives so much easier and makes us way more likely to do it.
Yeah. So if there's something you want us to sign, include that and shipping and stuff so we can get it back to you. So thanks for that. While we're eating breakfast, we also go around and talk about our mugs. We'll start with Jim, since Elizabeth has a mouthful of bagel.
Okay, this is my beaker mug. I like science. It's from the local museum here in Dallas.
The Perot Museum.
Yeah?
I drive by the Perot Museum every day before work. Mine is also from a museum. It is from some museum of modern art, but not MoMA, not that one. But this was a gift. So thank you. I've never been to this museum, but I like this mug. Yay.
It's very colorful.
Yeah, what you got?
I thought it was a Little Mermaid mug, but really it's like a sexy mermaid mug.
Sexy mermaid pirate.
Yeah, although admittedly I chose it primarily because it has like a mermaid tail for the handle and it just feels really good. I like texture.
Well, cheers to episode 5.
Good to spend the morning with you guys.
Indeed. Okay, back to everybody's questions. That is not for y'all. This question comes from Diego, and Ben also asks a similar question, so this will be a combo. For Elizabeth, are you afraid of insects or animals? Like Sanae, who's terrified.
So, no, I am not. I am actually, in all of my roommate situations, I have been the resident bug killer. I am the one that is called when everyone else is shrieking in the house to kill.
Spider, cockroach!
Spiders, cockroaches in Texas are a big one.
That's
Although-
a pun, right? Because they're massive here.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, tarantulas live here.
And-
What?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so she might be afraid a little bit.
Oh no, we I actually caught one, just because it was and spiders are cool.
See, that's the thing. I don't mind insects, but when there's a chance that they might be poisonous or have like a really painful bite, then I get a little freaked out. Like if I saw a centipede like Sanae,
Yeah.
that might be
And
a
they're
different
big.
story.
The bugs in the show are big.
Yeah. Bit of trivia: in Texas, only 2 venomous spiders: the brown recluse and the black widow.
Black widow.
Yeah.
So,
Isn't brown recluse like one of the worst in North
yes.
America?
Oh yeah.
Yes, totally. Okay, so Ben's question regarding bugs was worst or funniest experience you've ever had with bugs, and that was for either or all.
Worst or funniest experience I've ever had with bug?
Or worst.
Oh, I've got one.
Yeah.
Okay, so a fly got in the house. I had a kitten about 2 years ago. A fly got in the house, and the kitten was chasing the fly all over the place. And so you have a kitten who's trying to get to this fly no matter what, right? And that means I'm going to climb over people and stuff.
Oh no.
With all claws out because more traction so you can get the fly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was painful.
Yeah, you probably still have scars.
Yes, I do.
Cool.
I don't know if I really have a story offhand that I can think of, except for that fleas are the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
Being an animal owner,
Yeah.
I've had some pretty bad flea experiences, and those things are no joke.
Nope, they
Because
don't
at least
mess around.
bugs you can squash. Fleas,
Yeah, you can't even see them. You can't see them, you guys. Back to Diego's thing was a 2-parter about the bugs for Elizabeth, but for Jim, do you have a hobby or something you like to do other than voice acting? Just like Tatsuo, we kind of made his hobby his job. For
Yeah.
me, is how voice acting and acting was like, well, it's just something I like, and now it's my career. But do you have something else that you enjoy besides that?
Oh gosh.
you.
The easy thing would be to say, video games are fun, but no,
But
I
you do those for a living too.
yeah, I do those for a living as well. But I like hiking and photography. There's a lot of nice trails in the area, and yeah, it's again, I caught a spider once. And it's
just really wants
yeah,
to
it's just that I like
Jim the spider catcher.
yes, I like critters, birds. I was driving home. There's a bunny on the side of the road. I was like, oh,
Such an animal lover.
I love this scene.
This
I
is a
just wanted
beautiful
to
scene.
point this out. I love the scene because I love how it ends. Like I love
Your
the
little
Cinderella
story.
with hairy
Yeah.
legs. Like comment that actually made me laugh really loud in the booth. But I actually was just like, oh wow, this is like very relevant. Like I actually feel the same way. Like there are times when I spend too much time alone at home, and even though I'm all over social media, I'm kind of like,
Lonely.
I feel a bit lonely, and I will literally go out to a coffee shop and just like sit there and kind of like watch everyone walk past so I can feel like
Part of humanity
Yes.
again. Yeah. I love that scene. It's really very well performed. Thank you guys.
thank you.
For being amazing. This question comes from Ruben. Ruben wants to know, well, first Ruben says, it's interesting learning about the culture and what it means to the villagers in this series. Hearing about the wood carving was great. Is there anything in the series that you've personally taken a liking to? Anything?
I love the whole setting. I've actually visited Japan a couple times. You save up and you go and you love it so much. Then you save up another few years and then you go again. And we've visited some small towns like Manoyama, and it's just kind of neat to see a lot of the experiences I've had in real life. I can see happening in the show in a sense. Just visiting, again, small towns. They each have their mascots. The real ones are a lot cuter than the chupacabra, and you just meet a lot of interesting people. They're very welcoming.
I also thought it was pretty fun. I grew up in a really small town in Northern California, and it was kind of fun to see that even though they're entirely different continents, like small towns across the world have a lot of striking similarities. You know, like we had ridiculous little mascots and kind of funny holidays that we completely made up for our town. Like we had Gold Nugget Days because I grew up in Northern California.
Yeah, the Gold Rush.
Yeah, area. Paradise, which was initially Pair of Dice, and it was a mining town.
Wow.
So we had Gold Nugget Days, and we had the Gold Nugget Queen, and it's been fun to see that, like, I don't know, it's all different, but in some ways it's like not at all.
I can't think of just one thing that I've really taken a liking to in the show. I love all of it. I think I really like the idea of the tourism board and particularly this group of girls working there. I didn't live in a small town when I lived abroad. I lived in Madrid, which is a huge town. But there's just something about the more suburban areas there that remind me, strangely, of Monoyama. Like you said, how can this Japanese town remind us all of places we've lived or seen or been around the world? It's crazy. In this episode, I'll tell you what I really love. They mention one of my favorite places on the planet, which is the Sagrada Familia, which is a basilica in Barcelona. And I've been there, and it is breathtakingly beautiful. Like, everyone must go. It honestly is my favorite place on Earth. And when it showed up in this episode, like, immediately tears came to my eyes, and I'm like, yeah, it's so wonderful. So thanks for your question, Ruben. This kind of piggybacks off of what you just mentioned. Do either of you have an online versus public persona? And how are you different from your private? Is your public online self different from your private self? If at all. I mean, maybe you're like super transparent. You're like, I'm me all the time.
That's like a super deep question.
I know,
good job.
Y'all are good with your questions. Thank you. The superlative ones are fun. Like, what's your favorite this? But then somebody always has a gem. Every week there's a gem question. I think we found it. So,
I think that's like I could spend like 15 minutes answering that question, but I try to not have too much of a difference between my like public and personal persona, because I really believe that like one of the beautiful things about social media is that you can share yourself with the world, and it's like I want to share myself and not like somebody I'm not. But I will say that I probably am like a bit more like, I think I'm funnier online than I am in real life.
I think you're pretty funny.
Because I have like time to think about like my jokes and what I want to say. So to me, like to my perspective, like that's my main difference, but maybe other people don't see it that way.
No, I'm pretty much myself. Yeah, I mean, it's because I don't know how to. I mean, I know how to act as another character, but it's like sometimes I overshare. Yeah.
I think what's great about social media for actors and for voice actors, it really lets those of us that are like extroverted introverts. Social media is the perfect place. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of us as actors, we know how to be outgoing because we have to be, like we have to network and do all of those things and be likable to the folks that want, hopefully, to hire us. But at the end of the day, after we've worked and we've given and we've been this person and played this character, we just kind of want to chill out. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to do that. You can be alone but still connect to everybody that wants a little piece of you. And I've found it's really wonderful that way. I've made a lot of friends that way. It's very cool.
Also, I'm really obsessed with Caitlin's dogs. Anyone who's met them, they are the most lovable, adorable French bulldogs ever.
Pretty true.
And social media keeps me connected to them.
You can all be connected to my dogs. We'll give you all that info at the end. This question, I'll save that one because another person has a similar question. Difficult and memorable roles. This question comes from Eric. First, congratulations to you guys on your roles in the show, says Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Question is, what is or are the most difficult roles you've voiced in the past? And at the same time, what are your most memorable ones? Just for the sake of time, how about choose either or? One that's really memorable or one that's really difficult. It could be the same role for the same reason. So, yeah, whoever has an answer.
For me, one of the most memorable roles I've done was actually with Miss Caitlin Glass, and it was doing Bishamon on Noragami. because the show is really, really intense and emotional and dramatic, and I felt like we bonded. But it was also probably one of the most challenging roles for me acting-wise in the dubbing world, like, so far. And probably also because of that, when it was done, it was one of the most, like, rewarding wraps of an anime that I've had.
Well, you wouldn't know that it was difficult for you because she nailed it, man. She's awesome. Such a trooper. But yeah, emotionally, that thing put Elizabeth through the ringer. Season 2 is like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
So, good on you.
Thanks.
Okay. Most memorable, one of those difficult actually, is a recent one, as a video game, Battleborn, where I play.
Someone has a question about Battleborn.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, you do your thing,
Okay.
and let me find the question.
All right, so I play a clone by the name of Oscar Mike, and he was bred for fighting, but he's literally has like kind of like the emotional level of a 3-year-old. So in one of the later downloadable contents, the Oscar Mike versus the Battle School, he meets 8 other clones, and they're all played by me, but they all have to sound different. There's King Mike and Queen Mike. Queen Mike. King Mike is not. He's not in the. So Queen Mike, Lone Shark Mike, Baker Mike. Fat Mike, Harold Mike, and then Whiskey Foxtrot was in it, and of course Oscar. Is that 8? No, I lose track.
There's a lot of
Anyway,
Mikes.
but they all had to sound different, and sometimes the characters in the initial game, they're a little two-dimensional. They have, but then there's a story of this identity of who he is and who he can become later on. The DLC actually let the characters just kind of like explode, and it was fun to give that character more depth, but then also hard to make the same voice because their clones sound different.
Holy crap.
It was challenging, and then it was hard to talk after.
By the way, if you guys love anime and you love the voice actors that regularly work at Funimation, you should check out Battleborn because it stars like all of your favorite Funimation voice actors.
Everyone is in
and
it.
it is hilarious and so well acted.
written,
Caitlin
well-performed.
scares me in that game.
I'm terrifying. I scare myself in that game.
She's so angry in it.
So the question about Battleborn comes from Soulless Scientist. I don't even have
I
a
know
name.
you on Twitter.
Oh, hey, look.
I know him on Twitter as well.
Hey, what do you know?
Or her.
Sakura Quest is not the first time all 3 of you have contributed your voices to a project. Battleborn featured you in at least one lead role. Share a funny or interesting story from a recording session. Well, you kind of shared about Oscar Mike. So any interesting standouts about Battleborn? I've got mine right away, and it was not even the recording process, but just getting the role. I think I can pretty much say that I was the first actor cast in the whole game. And it was really scary because it was while they're still developing it, and like the development team came to Chris at Okratron and was like, we've got this character and we need somebody who can do these things. And I didn't even audition. He's like, oh yeah, Caitlin can do that. Let me get Caitlin. And then he calls me and I'm at work and he's like, so you're auditioning for this thing, but I pretty much told them that you can do it. So now you have to do it.
Oh, no pressure. No pressure at all.
Okay. It's like they need something that's kind of scary, like a Klingon, but also like Eastern European-ish. Cool. I'll send you a picture. I'm like, what? So I only had maybe a day, and I was so scared because I hadn't done that before.
Oh,
and Chris just told people, Caitlin can do it.
Caitlin, queen of accents.
Caitlin can do it. But I went, and I guess apparently whatever I did was too scary. So, but they still wanted to use me. But when the development team took so this is Thorn, this is what she looks like, and what we want her to sound like, and they're like, it's cool, but she's too scary. So what you hear in the game is still pretty scary, but it is the toned down version of how she started. And what I love about the DLC is that she gets a lot funnier. She lightens up and gets to tell jokes and like, you killed my grandpa and stuff like that. Ridiculous. So that's my fun Battleborn story. Have you got any?
Yeah, well, I play Phoebe in Battleborn, and one of my favorite things about doing weird characters is a lot of times if you take them apart, they're not that strange. It's like when you put all those parts together, And I don't remember what part of the game this was from. It might have been a DLC. But I got to do this monologue where Phoebe is just fangirling over a scientist, like an inventor. And I mean, it sounds like she's talking about her favorite male pop star, and she's getting like hot and bothered. And like she even starts getting a little out of breath. And, you know, but it's like she's talking about like science. And, and it's just like, I love those, like, you take two things that are not that strange and then you put them together and it's like, who is this person?
That's great.
And I really enjoyed like playing with that kind of like dichotomy with her.
Cool. Well, this person whose name is either Melman or Jimmel, I'm not sure. Either name's cool. Wants to know, do we have a favorite line in this episode? If you can remember it. You seem to like the Cinderella hairy legs line. Is there anything that jumps out at you that you can recall?
I like, I'm paraphrasing it, but the idea of trains making a connection, like a physical connection of wherever you are, there is a line to where if you were to follow those tracks, you could pretty much get to wherever you wanted, and it's
connects you to someone.
More so, maybe more here in the U.S. It's roads. When you think about it, like the road that leads outside of this house, pretty much goes anywhere, and it kind of closes that gap because you're thinking, I could walk there technically. It's kind of neat.
That's cool. Oh man, I can't think of a favorite. There are just way too many, but it's usually the bizarre ones that stick out. But all I can think of are the ones from the last episode. So I'm going to have to put my thinking cap on and come up with one of them for that. This is a cool one from Jamal. He wants to know, how do you maintain consistency when you're in character? And are there any vocal warm-ups you guys do?
Definitely vocal warm-ups. I went to theater school, so I learned a lot of vocal warm-ups there. The one I learned is really heavily influenced by the Alexander technique, which is a good thing to look up if you are interested in being a singer or a voice actor. And it focuses on like warming up the resonators of the body and then like tongue twisters and stuff. How I stay in character... Gosh, I don't know. I guess like once I get into character, I don't typically have a problem with slipping out while I'm in the booth. But one quick thing that I do is I'll create like a tagline for each character that I do, which is like one line that encompasses their worldview or their personality to me. And then like I can use that line as an anchor to bring me back into the character both vocally and emotionally.
Smart.
To stay in character, I try to think of oh gosh, this is a good one. Seeing things from that character's point of view, how they think about stuff, and usually the voice pretty much sticks, but then sometimes your director says, hey, you're kind of moving into this type of sound, so that's always good.
That's what we're there for.
Yeah, but
Jim is just that good, folks.
No,
I mean that. I mean that. He's
come on.
amazing.
He's super good.
Here's the thing: is that I'm so glad about the show because I've done more game work, I guess, than stuff at Funny for a while, and I kind of pigeonholed myself as a character person. Like, this is the first human being I've played in a long time.
Really?
Oh yeah. And when Caitlin put me in there, I'm like, I get to be a person.
A real person.
Yeah,
You're a real boy.
I mean, he's pretty much just me.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's awesome. I'm glad I thought of you.
Oh, thank you.
Because you sound great.
And I find your voice very soothing, Jim.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. So I was kind of surprised that you said that.
If you have not, we're looking at the closing right now. If you haven't seen this music video, it's pinned to my, it's in my Twitter feed somewhere. It is the closing animation, but with someone in a chupacabra costume. Going around actual places in Monoyama because it's real, it's like shot for shot and playing all of the girls, but as chupacabras. So please check it out. You won't be disappointed.
I did not know whether to like laugh or cry.
Yeah.
Like it's
hilarious. and the costume looks like the costume in the show.
Yes. I think it might be made by the folks at PA Works as some kind of promotional thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if we can squeeze in like Actually, let's not. It's the end. It's time to pimp ourselves out. So tell folks at home where they can find you on all the social medias that you want them to find you on. If you have cons coming up or any of that.
I interact with my fans on Twitter. I'm at About Elizabeth M, and Instagram, I'm just at Elizabeth Maxwell. I do have a bunch of cons coming up, but I would just recommend going to my website. It's aboutelizabethmaxwell.com, and I actually have a tab that has my whole convention schedule on it. And
so you know where to find her.
yeah, yay! That's one of my favorite things about doing this is getting to go to those and like meet other
folks,
other anime fans.
How about you?
You can find me on Twitter at jimforonda.com. It's Foronda, often misspelled.
Oh.
Yes.
Misspelled.
But yeah, and I have no cons coming up. If some con wants to be the first person to have me as a guest, you'll be the first person to have me as a guest, because I've never actually attended a con before.
That's crazy. Think of all your expertise.
I've attended cons before, but just not as a guest. Cool. Yeah.
Well, there is a first time for everything. Well, maybe folks can get on that. You know me, I am at Caitlin's Voice, and I've recently changed all of my things, so you can find me on everything as at Caitlin's Voice.
Nice.
On YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the things. Cool. So come and find me. We still have a handful of questions that we're saving to take over to the table and answer, but that's all that we have time for on the stream. Thanks you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.
About those glasses that are reflective.
Oh, man.
I love that you play two characters in Battleborn.
Oh, no, I play Oscar Mike, Isaac, Whiskey Foxtrot, Minrek. I play the recruiter for Toby.
So many characters.
And I actually interview myself in Isaac's lore.
Yes.
It was because Aaron had asked for it. He goes, Robert Siegel on NPR, and I was like, I believe I can do Robert Siegel.
Man, I got to do a cool thing also for that they ended up not keeping, and my name is like Dave
Hardcastle.
Dave Hardcastle.
Dave Hardcastle.
I love being Dave Hardcastle, and then it's not in the game. So I told Aaron he has to get it into another game.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what the heck are we talking about, we're still talking about Battleborn because that's how much we love it. But really, this is the portion of the show called Finish Your Coffee. Caitlin's got to go to work, so.
And me too.
Mm-hmm.
It's on her first session.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'm directing her. So, Elizabeth, if I'm late, you'll know why. Cool? Tell my engineer. So, let's hit these last few questions that we've got. Tanner would like to know, is there a character in the show that you can relate to the most, and why? Can be yours or not yours. You guys think while I will read.
I don't know if this is like too cliche of an answer, but I really do relate to Sanae a lot. I just feel like a lot of the stuff she says in the show, I'm like, I get you, girl. Like, I get your struggle.
Right?
Okay, this is embarrassing because I'm having my mind's going blank.
That's all right.
She's the daughter of the farmers.
Shiori.
Shiori. She's the one called Yoshino Yoshi in the beginning. She's she tries to help everybody out.
Yeah.
She feels like, is there anything I can do to like, can I help you with something? Maybe we can do this. I don't know. I like fixing things if I can.
Aw, I recognize that in your character. That's he's very thoughtful. Jim's a thoughtful guy. That's awesome. This question comes from Michelle, and another person asked a similar question. I'm sorry, I forget who it was, but I was saving that part of your question to just tag it up with Michelle's. Elizabeth and Jim, what's one thing you've learned from Caitlin as a director? Be nice to me.
Oh my gosh.
She asked it. I'm not just trying to be like, flatter me, but Michelle wants to know. So,
if I had to sum it up, I'd say ask for what you want, but trust your instincts. Because Caitlin is one of those directors that she will always let me do another take if I want to, but like 95% of the time she was like, yeah, I like the first one better.
but I'll let you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think in the roles that you've directed me in, it's just be as natural as possible. Again, coming from games, it's always be as large as possible, and it's being a normal person. Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, their reality is heightened, and their circumstances are not like anything we'd experience in real life. But if you play them larger than life, sometimes your audience can't relate to them.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it anyway.
Yeah, because these are real people in the show.
Yeah, and this show in particular, definitely. So thanks for that question, Michelle. I did that one. Josue, I love your name, Josue. His question is, this is so cool. If your characters could hang out with another character you voiced from a different show, who's a suitable match for your character? So like, who would Sanae hang out with of your other roles? Who would Tatsuo hang out with of your other roles? That's a really cool question.
Okay.
Oh man, I wish I had like the night to think of this. Previous night.
You got it?
I know immediately. Tatsuo, because he's kind of a happy-go-lucky guy. Would probably hang out with, depending on which series, Denny Block or Denny Brosh from Full Metal Alchemist, because Denny was also just, hey, how you doing? Oh, well, yeah, he was also another kind of,
He's special.
Let's just do whatever. Yeah, so the two of them would probably get into trouble of some sort. Yeah.
That's awesome. Good answer.
I'm gonna fudge this question a little bit. It's the other character is not one that I voiced, but it's something I just thought of. It always kind of tickles me that like Sanae seems like she maybe has like a little bit of a like inner party girl. It's like she likes having a beer at the end of the night. And so I'm like, I'd like to see her like in a bar with Crow from Ruby. Like I feel like there might be a connection there, and they both kind of have like they can be a little salty. So I think they get along well.
Send your fan art too about Elizabeth. Cool question, Josue. Thanks for that. I also love this question from Athby. If the city that you live in was in the same position as Monoyama, what would you have done, and what are some places or historic sites in your city that you would like promote to help the town? That's cool, because you could either do where you live now or maybe where you're from, if you think that would be a better answer.
Oh gosh.
Well, I feel like Austin's mascot would be like a giant bowl of queso. Yes. And I have to admit, I haven't lived in Austin super long, so like historical spots are kind of eluding me, but like to me, one of my favorite things about Austin is that it's a city, but it's so close to and incorporates so much nature. So I would probably focus on that, like, Town Lake, or I still consider it Lady Bird Lake, and like all the swimming holes and just all the kind of like natural beauty in the city.
Okay, so this is going to be hard because I grew up in Florida. Maybe push a theme park or something, like a mouse, or
man.
Yeah, but even without that, beaches are nice.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the Gulf Coast is, the water's warm and it's clear, and you'll see schools of rays, swimming by. It's nice.
It's not just like Florida, come for the weirdos.
Yeah, it's
no.
Come for the reality
Austin,
TV show guests.
Come for the weirdos. I grew up in San Diego, but particularly a suburb called Escondido, and which means hidden in Spanish, and because it's in a valley. And I don't know if I had to promote that place. We used to have a lot of orange trees and avocados and Californian things. That's all I got. Oh, the wild animal park is there. So there's the San Diego Zoo down in San Diego, world famous. But like up the street from my high school is the wild animal park, which is even bigger. Like you can fit 4 or 5 San Diego zoos inside it because they have this big open area for animals to just roam around.
Wow, it's like just a built-in savanna of some sort.
Yeah, indeed. So that's probably what I would want people to know about. I feel like I read one of these and then wanted to save it for later. We did that one, difficult roles. We did this. Oh, okay. Tiffany was the other person who was asking about me as a director. So shout out to you again, Tiffany. Oh, I think we got everything.
I just want to say again, thank you guys for acknowledging, because I feel like directors are some of the most underrated people sometimes, and they are oftentimes really the backbone of like the show and responsible for the overall tone and quality. So
that's true. Direction can make or break something, because even the best actors with a bad director will just end up just flat on their face.
Oh,
so
thank you guys. That's so nice. Let's do. She's my favorite.
don't tell her though.
I hope it doesn't go to my head. Okay, so now we're going to draw for this awesome picture from this week's episode. It's the picture that Sandal drew for the Sakura Pond Familia. So in here, everybody sent us a question. Your name is in this thing. One of y'all can draw it. The other person gets to read it. So whoever...
Okay, all right, here we go. It is...
To Elizabeth.
Oh, here you go. Okay.
Do you want to read it together?
Sure. And the Oscar goes to...
Athby.
Athby or a two?
Isn't it Athby?
Athby.
Athby. What was Athby's question again?
Athby.
The one about what would you promote from your town?
Oh.
Yeah, good question. Cool. So thanks, Athby. Send us a mailing address. Send that address to sakuraquestfest@gmail.com, and I can mail you this fabulous piece of art. But yeah, I do have to go to work. So does Elizabeth. Jim is gonna go. Oh, show us this.
Yeah. So in Nikko, Japan, I actually met a wood carver, and I bought this in his shop. It's
beautiful.
It's either a hummingbird or a dragonfly, one of the two.
It's like a dragonfly.
But it's all balancy.
Is it made of bamboo?
I'm not exactly sure because he didn't speak much English. I spoke like the little bit of Japanese I knew, but
it's so smooth. I think, and it's porous. So I think that it
might be bamboo. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll let the spinning bird take us out. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next week for episode 6. Bye.
Bye-bye.
But that's not all. On top of the tree pruner, if you act now, you'll also get a handheld saw, plus pruning shears for small branches. And what does all that cost? Look at that price tag. Just a fraction of what you'd think, right? Can you believe it? Wow!